A pleasant Saturday afternoon to all our viewers from the Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, and Brunei. I am Nikki Rivera from Pampanga, Philippines, welcoming you all to our N21 Connect live stream. Congratulate yourself for taking this opportunity to listen and learn from 4 amazing leaders in our business. So stick around, focus, and take notes, as this is surely going to be a very informative afternoon as much as it is inspiring. Now, our first talk is about doctors and other professionals doing the business, and who better to hear it from than a doctor himself. For a brief background, Dr. Mark and his wife, Dr. Jade Marinas, are both physicians. They are now based in Dipolog City, Philippines. Dr. Mark is a general surgeon and Dr. Jade is an anesthesiologist. They were introduced into the Amway business opportunity when they were still resident physicians in training in the country's largest government hospital. At first, they were hesitant because, being very busy doctors, they had no time. Second, they didn't have any experience running a traditional business, nor any background in alternative businesses. Third, they don't have money, as they were still in training and were actually starting a family. The 2019 pandemic crisis forced them to upgrade their business into the emerald level. Now, they're enjoying a little bit more of life. The main value that this business gave them is freedom. The freedom to design the life that they want and to enjoy the life that they deserve. This time, they look forward to bringing more families this rare gift of freedom, family, hope, and reward. To start our much-awaited session, it is my honor to introduce to all of you Emerald from the Philippines, Dr. Mark Marinas.
Hi! Good morning to all our Network 21 subscribers and community leaders. My name is Dr. Mark Marinas, and I'm a general surgeon based here in the Philippines. First of all, I'd like to thank Network 21 for giving me this opportunity to share my experience and insights into this unique business model. Today, I have been tasked to share why doctors and other professionals are attracted to this business. But before I begin, if anything in my talk confuses you or is not applicable to you, kindly consult with your mentor and coach, as my experience might be not similar to yours. And that being said, I will be sharing stories of my personal journey in this opportunity. It was 2003 when I was 23 years old when I passed our Philippine licensure exams to practice medicine. And like most 23-year-old fresh graduates, I was kind of lost on what my next step is. Should I start my career as a general practitioner? Should I moonlight first? Or should I go into further specialty training? I opted to go into general surgery because I love my experience in the operating theater, and I found it satisfying when I was able to nurture patients back to health. Way back then, there was a very popular medical sitcom titled Doogie Howser, MD, starring Neil Patrick Harris, showing the daily challenges of a teenage child genius who became a doctor at a very young age. While, yes, Doogie Howser is a fictional character, The person who invited me to take a look at this business was very real. His name was Dr. John Joseph Ocampo Laseste. He is an anesthesiologist and a pain management specialist, but at that time, he was also a resident trainee like me. Dr. John's nickname in our medical circles was Doogie because he graduated from medicine and was already a licensed medical practitioner at the ripe old age of 21. At that time, when he presented the business model to me, I was about to finish my general surgery residency training, then in the country's largest government hospital, and was about to get married. So I had all the reasons why I cannot start a business. One, I don't have time. I was living inside the hospital compounds and was expected to be on call for 24/7 for 5 years until my training ends. And even after residency, we all know doctors have very limited time. It is a given that our lifestyles as doctors will always be busy. Number two, I don't have money to invest in any business. I was about to get married in a few months, and what little I could scrape was definitely not going into something that I am not sure of succeeding. And number three, as a busy surgeon in training, I don't have the skills, connections, or technical knowledge of how to start my own business. So I really wanted to refuse his invitation. But then I realized that if a genius like him sees something in this opportunity, then maybe there's something here that I wasn't seeing as well. Not everyone becomes a doctor at 21, right? So to emphasize how mind-boggling that is, let me illustrate. Here in the Philippines, before the Department of Education's K-12 program, it takes 24 years of continuous studies just to become a licensed medical doctor, that is a general practitioner. And if you want to pursue further specialization like mine, which is general surgery, you add another 5 years of training and another year to take 2 diplomate board exams, one written and one oral. And if you pass at the first take, you would have invested 30 years of continuous study. And at the age of 35, you can now start your career at the age of 35. And now with the K-12 program of the Department of Education, you add 2 more years to everything. So maybe for most people at a younger age, maybe they can afford to stave off starting a family. Maybe they can compartmentalize studies versus love life. But you know, as one gets older, biological clock becomes a concern, especially for women. And at the age of 30, one will have to start integrating family, life goals, relationships, and even raising children, perhaps. So while Doogie Howser was a fictional character, Dr. John Laseste, having gone through all of this at the age of 21, was the real deal. And yet, here he was, in our dark boarding house room, leafing through an Amway presentation chart, showing me how to travel the world for free. He started by showing me the standard marketing plan, and I couldn't help but agree that his points make sense. He said that whatever our backgrounds are, we all want the same things in life, and yet we are limited by the same things: time and money. Maybe we could take time off work, but I won't be able to make as much money as I would want or need. Or maybe I could spend all that time at work, even moonlighting in different hospitals and taking on multiple duties. I would make lots of money, but I wouldn't have time to enjoy them. And as a specialist, I know this for a fact that a lot of my colleagues can barely spend quality time with their family without worrying about clinic hours and missed opportunities for earning income. And unfortunately, if you're working in a government hospital or any government institution, or for a majority of employed Filipinos for that matter, we already lack time and we still lack money. What we want is to get the right balance of having both time and money, and that entails being able to think out of the box. And Dr. John, as a genius, is notorious for being able to think out of the box. So I said, okay, let's see what he has to offer. Oh, what if it works? What have I to lose? I asked myself. So he showed me the cash flow quadrant. And you know what? It starts making sense. He was not asking me to sell soap. He was showing me a system, a way how to be financially smart and how to start early, how to start while in training. I know it's going to be a challenge because I will be juggling a lot of things at the same time, but it is what it is. Obviously, I have to know where the paths lead. I want to know where my ladder is leaning at. That if I continue along this path, will it be worth it? Or will it just be another waste of time? So, I get inspiration from two other genius medical doctors, albeit both are fictional. In the insanely successful MCU movie Avengers Endgame, Dr. Stephen Strange was able to see 14,605 different scenarios, each tiny change rippling down the path only to branch off later. Dr. Strange was able to see which paths lead to success and which paths lead to failure. Or if you prefer the DC expanded universe, we have Dr. Fate, who was introduced in the movie Black Adam. Dr. Fate's powers included the ability to look into the future, among others. Thankfully, I don't have to have the powers of Dr. Stephen Strange or Dr. Fate. I don't have to explore 14 million possibilities or have a helmet that allows me to peek into the future. I only needed to see two alternative futures. And to do that, I simply needed to look at the experience of two real-life doctors who have gone ahead of me. Let's take a look at Alternative Future 1. When I arrived here in this city, there was a senior general surgeon with a flourishing medical career. He even had executive positions in different hospitals aside from his booming surgical practice. Despite his age, he was a fitness buff, always having a healthy diet, had no vices, and went biking regularly. Sometime though, in mid-2011, this careful and healthy general surgeon had a terrible biking accident. His bike skidded on a wet pavement and he crashed headfirst onto a telephone pole. He was awake, but from his neck down, he was paralyzed. He had what we call a traumatic spinal cord injury. Now, for most patients who had complete transection of the spinal cord, they will have complete and total paralysis depending on the level of the injury. A C6 or a cervical 6 injury is pretty high up. Anything higher and he would have stopped breathing. Imagine, years of your life dedicated to being a surgeon, building your career, staying healthy, and in just one split-second disaster, you're paralyzed and could not move a single part of your body below your neck. How would you feel? Thankfully, though, what he had was a C6 anterior cord contusion, meaning the spinal cord was not cut or mangled, but it was severely swollen though. It took at least 6 months of intense therapy for him to slowly gain back control of his arms and legs, and years more for the fine finger movement required for complex surgery. We still see each other when we meet in the hospital and in surgical conference, but man, what happened to him? It's a scare that made a lot of doctors realize that we all need a plan B. Now let's take a look in the future of Alternative Future 2. Here's another doctor, a dentist in fact. He was already a high-income earner when he was shown this business opportunity, but he asked himself, what if it works? And he set about building this business. The result being, early in his career, he was able to bury his dental tools and started living his life to the fullest. And now, he is helping me and thousands of other young entrepreneurs across the world create a backup plan and achieve our life goals. He is Dr. Amgad Gabriel, and he's a double diamond already in this business. What that means is that aside from time and money and friends and connections, he has what most doctors want: freedom. Freedom is one of the core values why doctors and most professionals would rather want to be self-employed rather than, tied down to a cubicle. This is especially relevant now that we are seeing the post-pandemic scenario of a lot of doctors being burnt out by their medical career. There was a Medscape study, or a Medscape report last 2021 in a survey of more than 12,000 physicians in over 29 specialties, and they all noted that a lack of work-life balance, spending too many hours at work, or being underpaid is one of the major issues. And this burnout has spilled over to personal life and relationships. Well, it seems that doctors aren't immune to burnout, and this is the same across almost all professions. The study also showed that doing worthwhile activities, hobbies, exercise, and spending quality time with family and friends are key elements in preventing burnout. In a study of more than 2,500 US physicians last July 2022, it became increasingly apparent that there's an increasing trend in the medical field for physicians to look for a plan B. Physicians nowadays are more open to exploring other side gigs, whether as a means of having an alternative source of income or as a way to pursue their hobbies and passions. Still, the main goal for almost half, 48% actually, for almost half of these side gigs are to earn extra money. Which begs the question, how much more money do physicians really need? Obviously, the answer is multifactorial. But the better question is, how? How do most physicians make their money? And this brings us back to the cash flow quadrant. Because as long as the income stream flows primarily from the active side of the quadrant, then it might never be enough. Because a single accident or a single terminal illness can wipe out your entire savings. Now, let's take a look at the average income of a medical doctor in Manila, the capital of the Philippines. That's around 1,000 US dollars monthly base pay plus another $1,000 in benefits. Now, for doctors like me working in the provinces, it is easily half of this amount. Let's take a look at another medical field, nursing. In the US and Canada, a single nurse can earn 3 to 5 times the monthly amount of a medical doctor in Manila. And that's 6 to 10 times the amount of a doctor working in the provinces. And that is why we see a lot of good doctors leaving the country to become nurses abroad. But note, that still does not change which side of the quadrant our income comes from. Shifting from the S quadrant or self-employed quadrant to the E quadrant or the employed quadrant does not change the type of income, whether active or passive. To shift to the passive side of the quadrant, we need to either have a big business or have rolling investments. And as far as creating a business is concerned, that means we can either create a system or join a pre-existing system. So let's entertain creating or starting your own startup business first. Here in the Philippines, we have enjoyed a rise of new entrepreneurs after the pandemic. We have had close to 1 million business registrations since 2020. Of note is the rising trend in online businesses to help make ends meet. And the International Trade Administration of the United States actually estimates that the Philippine e-commerce industry will reach around 24 billion US dollars by 2025, which is perfectly suited since studies show that most Filipinos are on social media for 10 hours a day, every single day. So let's examine how easy is it to start your own business here in the Philippines. First, register your business name. Seems simple enough. 2, notarize your documents, including articles of incorporation and treasurer's affidavit. Okay, maybe I can handle that. 3, apply for incorporation and prepare your financial records. And 4, pay your fees. And we are just getting started. Number 5, register with the Social Security System, the SSS, the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, PhilHealth, the Home Mutual Development Fund, like the Pag-ibig, the Department of Trade and Industry, and the local barangay units. Man, that is a lot of registrations, and a lot of payments, and a lot of paperwork. Number 6, obtain your business permit, including, but not limited to, your fire inspection permit, your local clearance, electrical inspection, mechanical inspection, sanitation, and mayor's permit. Wow! And we are still just halfway through. The local barangay clearance has their own application form, and you will need your own Security and Exchange Commission certificates, location plan, and each one comes with a fee, of course. Then you have to go to the Bureau of Internal Registration, complete your form. Then, when registering for the Social Security System, the PhilHealth, and the Pag-ibig, they each have their own requirements. And after fulfilling all of that, you have to go back to the Bureau of Internal Revenue and have another round of paperwork just so you can have your receipts and invoices. Whew. I got tired just by relaying all of that. Now, maybe you have all the time and energy in the world to travel back and forth in traffic. But how much will that cost? Now, expect to shell out a minimum of 7,000 pesos for the Bureau of Internal Registration or BIR business registration, 7,000 for the Security and Exchange Commission, around 2,000 for the Department of Trade and Industry registrations, and around 15,000 for all the other permits. So we are talking roughly 30 to 40,000 at the minimum just to have our paperwork and documents ready. That's almost 1,000 US dollars for our foreign friends listening right now. And if you have to add rent, salaries, supplies, internet, this can really balloon to double the amount and more. And yet, that's only just the beginning. Having gone through all the hurdles of setting up your own business, it is not an assurance of success. Let's take a look at the success rate of a traditional business. According to the latest data, 90% of all startup businesses in the US fail. That's 20% in the first year, 30% in the third year, 50% in the fifth year, and 70% or more in a decade. I don't know about you, but if I were to invest my time, money, and effort into something, I would want it to be long-lasting. But what if we adopt a pre-existing system? Like in franchising. There are a lot of franchises available. I have reviewed here 196 franchises in 17 different industries, from restaurants, fast foods, beverages, cafes, coffee shops, bake shops, education, retail stores, convenience stores. We have franchises in pharmacies, automotives, LPGs, gas stations, couriers, payment centers, gyms, water stations, and even repair stations. Here are selected details of 24 companies spread out in 4 industries. The take-home message is clear. The more well-known a franchise is, the more expensive it's going to be. Expect to shell out millions in your initial package and franchise fees, not to mention your renewals, monthly royalty fees, monthly service fees, monthly marketing fees, security deposits, and lock-in periods. And yet, despite these millions, it is still not an assurance of success, as documented by the analysis of more than 20,500 business franchises in 10 years. So, guys, what else do we have? It seems that wherever we go, the odds are stacked against us. Are we destined to always be the little fish being eaten by the big fish? Surprisingly, the answer to this dilemma is simple. We just need to learn to think out of the box. How can we get financial freedom? And the answer to that question involves understanding the 8-step financial timeline. It starts with, number 1, having a financial plan. Number 2, dealing with your expenses. Number 3, protection. Number 4, getting out of debt early. Number 5, securing emergency funds. Number 6, increasing assets both through active and passive income. Number 7, diversifying, exploring other investments and possibly partnerships. And lastly, number 8, ensuring your legacy and planning for the next generation. Hidden in this timeline is number 2, expense control and expense conversion. What? Expense control? Yeah, I can understand. But what is expense conversion? Simply, it means that we can use our anyway money that we are normally buying to buy non-earning expenses, and channel that into this e-commerce platform that can generate income from a product that we are regularly buying anyway. It's a simple idea and yet beautiful in its execution, and it fits perfectly into our program. This expense conversion program can now be used to fund our way into the other steps of the financial ladder. Another name for the expense conversion program is what we call as an alternative distribution model. Interestingly, if you partner this concept with 2 other concepts called drop shipping and affiliate marketing, you can have a global distribution business without the hassles and limitations of a traditional brick-and-mortar startup business or even a franchise. The way I see it, this opportunity is the democratization of business ownership. It allows everyone to be able to start their own business. It allows small-time turtles to ride a skateboard and race along the rabbits. It allows small fish to team up and be the big fish for once. Now back to the original question. Why are doctors and other professionals attracted to this business? As you can see, it all depends on the motivation. There are two types of motivation. One is internal, such as the pursuit of meaningful relationships, personal growth, and community involvement. The other is external motivation, like the pursuit of wealth, fame, and image. This business addresses both internal and external motivations. Built correctly, we can have more than both time and money. We can have better faith, fitness, finances, friends, family, freedom, and a better future. In fact, Harvard just concluded an 85-year study started in 1938 with 724 centenarians all over the world to study motivation, happiness, and longevity. And they found out that it's not the external motivators that ultimately contribute to happiness and longevity, but more of the internal motivators, like being in a supportive community, helping others, and basically finding and fulfilling your purpose. In closing, we come full circle. My first professional fee in payment for my services as a general surgeon was a chicken. A real live chicken. And yet, for some reason, I felt fulfilled. Maybe because, in contrast to what the media will tell us, ultimately, it is not money that drives doctors and other professionals to do what we do. Sure, superficially, some might go for fame and fortune, but for most of us trying to make an honest living, it is about having a sense of purpose that drives us. And I found it in this community of entrepreneurs. I also found that the true purpose of having a business is not to maximize profits, but to maximize generosity. We learn how to improve our business and professions so that we can earn as much as we can, so we can give as much as we can. So I close with a question that haunted me ever since I started this business. What if it works? And what am I going to do to make it work? As for you, my friend, only you can answer that question. And remember that in all things, seek first the kingdom of God and you'll be showered with blessings beyond compare. My name is Dr. Mark Marinas. Congratulations and God bless us all.
It all begins with you.
My name is Dr. Simon Sum.
My name is Brian Elliott.
My name is Gabriele.
I'm Sahil Today.
Казвам се Бойко Първанов.
My name is Did Sons.
I'm Nana Sakula. My name is Irina Niga.
My name is Dmitry.
My name is Gift.
You are capable. You have what it takes. You can take control of your future. No matter what your background or profession, no matter the level of success you've had up until this point, you can do this business. Anyone can take this opportunity and build the future of their dreams. That includes you.
I'm a bookkeeper.
I am the conductor of the orchestra. And I am an ABO.
I am an architect and Amway business owner.
I'm a freelance graphic artist.
I'm a cosmetologist. I'm an ABO.
And I'm a pharmacist and I'm an IPO.
I'm a real estate agent and I'm an Amway business owner.
I work as a sales manager.
I am a hotel owner.
I'm a dentist and I am an ABO.
You don't need formal education or tons of money. You can be male or female, married or single. You can be young or old, outgoing or reserved. This business is for everyone. You can do this.
Kevin's a merchant navy captain. I'm a fashion designer.
And I'm a nursing student.
I'm an English teacher and I'm an ABO.
I'm an ex-professional sportist. I'm an ABO.
I'm an accountant. I'm ABO and beautician.
I'm the owner of a food truck and an Amway IPO.
Financial specialist, and I'm an Amway business owner.
And this business is your business. You can do it part-time or full-time. You can grow it big or keep it small. You can make a lot of money or just a little money. You can create customers or be a customer. Everything is up to you.